Okay, so we just cut down this box elder tree. It was getting old and crooked, and it just wasn't going to work where it was, so we ended up chopping it down. And I just wanted to show you how I'm doing this here. I got two pieces of wood. They measure 16 by 22. Big piece of chalk right there. And what I did is we felled the tree, and then I used that extension chainsaw right there to do all the trim work on all the brush, and it makes it really easy on the back to do it that way. We pull all the brush out of the way, and then I have two sets. The 16 and the 22 markers are the 22s stay round because they're smaller, and the 16s are the ones that we're going to split. So all the ones that are in the air like this, I have them marked at 22 inches. And then as I go down, like right here, I stop marking it because that's all going to be 16, and that's going to be the stuff that we split. So all this will stay whole, and all this stuff over here will be marked at 16 inches, and then we'll split that with the splitter. But I just kind of wanted to show how I go about this before we go to the next step. Okay, so we have all the 20s cut on this thing, at least all the stuff that's up in the air, so it makes it easy. And so we have all this brush laying around. My brush partner is gone at the moment, so usually we get the brush out of the way, and then we go around and pick up all the 22 inches. And I got 22 inches by measuring the grill inside of our fireplace. It's about as big as it can get. So we'll take all these 22s, we'll put them in the tractor here, take them over the pile, and we'll put them in a bright sunny spot so they get extra dry, basically. And that's how we will treat the 22s. And then when we're done all cleaning up everything, then we'll come back and do the 16s and split them. So I'll show you the wood pile next. Okay, so here's our little wood pile that we made. Basically, we're going to make pillars on the end and then put some supports on the other side there. This is all of our stuff that's split at 16 inches. We just did this yesterday. And then here's all our 22 inches. This is a nice bright sunny spot, and that'll keep them or dry them out faster and keep them dry faster. On here for the base, we just used pavers that we had sitting around the house, and we just connected them just like that there. They're 8-footers with an 8-inch piece in the middle. They're not treated. Probably should have got them treated, but I didn't. But they're somewhat level, and it seems good enough. And over time, it'll just kind of like settle into place. That's what we're hoping. So it's working really well for now. The advantages for us are basically it's going to level, it's going to bring it up a little bit, so it's easier to grab the stuff off of there, easier to load, and yeah, hopefully stronger. Keep the 2x4 stronger because it's vertical. After this, we'll show you how we do the 16-inch cuts, how we split them, and that will be coming next. You can see how these branches are holding this tree up. Right there. It's sunny, so I'm trying to get a good view of this. So what I'm doing is getting the branches that don't count, like this one. So it makes it easy for me to go through it on the ends. And we have all our 20s, we're gonna pick them up, and I'm measuring the 16s. And when I measure it, 16 is, our wood splitter is 18 inches wide, and we want 16 inches to be like ideal. I go less than that even, and then I try to keep the end of it over here straight with this chalk, and I go and I mark them all just like these. So these are all hanging, and if I cut them, it won't affect how the tree is laying, and it makes it really easy because it's up in the air. And I have them all marked just a little bit less than 16, and you can see how the cuts, like that's how I want it to cut. It takes a little bit of time, but it makes sure then you're good to go as far as like when it goes through the final process of splitting. You don't have to worry about cutting so many so they'll fit, or cutting them way too short. Another thing I wanted to mention about marking the trees is that when I'm actually marking this, when I go out to the next one, so I have this one marked, and I'm gonna go up one more. So I know that 16, my gap in my wood splitter is 18, and I want it to be 16. So there's my mark right there. When I go up there, I swing it over like this. And the reason why I do that is because I have to leave extra room for the chalk, and then I have to leave extra room for my mistake. Meaning that there's no way that I'm gonna get this perfectly straight and this perfectly straight. There's gonna be a tilt to either side. So I have to make up for that. And if you look where the two lines are, hopefully we can see them. After you do that, there's just a little bit of play on each side. And that's my room for mistake play right there. Alright, so these are the tools that we're using today. This is a kinetic wood splitter by DR. It's the Rapidifre K10, and it's really impressive. So when I was growing up, we used gas and oil powered everything. So we had the old hydraulic wood splitter that would take a long time. I'm pretty familiar with those. I've helped clear, a good amount of acreage, and so I feel like I have enough experience to be able to say whether or not something like works good. And this thing is really impressive. It runs off 13 amps. We have a 20 amp cord going all the way up to the house, 35 foot in. We have two 100 foot cords, and those are 20 amps. Comes down to here. This thing does not get hot at all, and the amount of logs that it can split and how fast it does it is just remarkable compared to hydraulic system, the old school kind. Really impressive, and I'll get into that a little bit later. For the two saws we're using, I bought this Remington 12 amp 16 inch from a guy on Craigslist that was used, and this adjuster in here was pretty crooked and still is, but it's working really great. At this point I'm sold on electric. I don't think that I'll be using gas powered stuff unless I absolutely have to, because I've been cutting for the last 2 days and my hands have no vibration issues as opposed to running the engines. My hands feel great. I've been using gloves and not using gloves at the same time, so I'd say about half the time I'm using gloves, half the time I'm not, and it's incredible. The other little thing, so that's my first time using any electric stuff, any electric wood splitter, electric saw, and then this last is the pull saw, electric pull saw, and that's a 16 inch as well. And this pull saw is amazing when you're doing trim work on your branches. It's just so easy to walk along and not have to bend over and get all that little stuff. So here we are on this part where everything is kind of cleared off, and we have the 22 inchers all taken off and picked up, and now we're going to start working on the 16 inchers. And the reason why I saved this is because you can see how it's kind of suspended by its branches here, and I wanted to show you what I did here for how I'm going to go about this. If you look at the tree where the trunk is, you'll see that with these the way they are, these two branches right here, if we were to cut that left branch off right there, these will probably hold. So that's what I'm going to do, and I have it all marked out in a series. So I had to leave to go get more canola oil because I'm running everything on canola oil, which is also way better than bar chain oil as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't stink real bad and it's non-toxic and it works great. My blades are doing fine. So what I'm going to do is, since I know that this big branch can come off first, I'm going to start with the furthest end and work my way towards it. And so I have this marked right here, this first branch. I have that number 1 there. I don't know if you can see it. That's my first one. I'm going to work my way up. These are all 16 inches now. Cut that branch. Hopefully this one will hold. If it doesn't, I'm thinking just the way that it is, it's going to hold. If it doesn't, I'll have to be real careful when I get, well, I'll know when I cut this. We'll know exactly what's going on. But then this is the plan. Number 2 is to go right here, get this one up here, and then hopefully this one stays suspended by the weight of the other 2 branches on the other side. So once I'm done with that, the plan is to come over here, and I have these, or nope, that's number 3 would be the one up there, and then number 4 would be this one right here. Get that knocked out. This would be number 5 down here, and then I'm going to be left with 2 branches sticking on the ground here. So what I want to do is go for that short one right there, and I have it marked number 6 right there. And so my plan is to, when it's just a little stub left, to try to make this end boom, hit the ground right there. Then I can start working on this piece right here. So that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, so plan 1 went as planned, and now we're on step 2, and you can see how I just cut the bottom off here, and this whole arm or branch is gonna stay on, so we can eliminate this entire branch and then move on to the other 2 guys hang out over there. All right, so we got let's see, 4 and 5 done, and so that would be 4. This would be 5. This started moving on me a little bit, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. You can see it starts coming up right over there, so it wants to rest right there. And now I'm gonna attack 6, and what I'm gonna try to do is make this portion hit to the ground. So I'm gonna wedge it right there. Okay, so we started cutting everything up, and the chainsaw broke. My electric chainsaw that I like so much that I got on Craigslist broke, so I had to go get a new one, which is this one right here. And in the meantime, my neighbor came over with a 20-inch gas-powered one and started chopping at this as well. So when I got back, he did a little bit, but he saved a nice big one for me. So that's about a 2 foot thick at the base right over here, and I'm starting to trim it up right now with this 18-inch Black & Decker that I bought. There's a debate on whether we should get gas or whether we should get the electric, and so far the electric is so smooth on my hands, there's no vibration at all, that I just will do whatever I can to keep using an electric. So but I think it's like pretty obvious right now, if you could choose what you wanted to use, it would definitely be a 20-inch gas powered. But I'll get through it with this. It's just in my backyard, not that big of a deal. It's just kind of like a temporary thing, something I'm not going to be doing all the time, so I can take a little bit more time and make these slices with a little electric one that takes a little bit more time, and it won't bother me. So that's what I'm going to do, and then after this we will look at some of the K10 electric rapid fire splitter in action. Okay, so this is the K10 powered up and ready to go. We're going to throw a 6-inch log on it first. No problem, you can do it all day with those 6 inches. Next we're going to do a 12-incher. This is a 12-inch log. I always butt it up as close as I can into the wedge. It seems to work better that way. So that's freshly cut box elder. It was cut yesterday. Looks like we can go bigger, but I just wanted to get those 2 for now, so for the next one we'll go larger. On these handles, people were saying that they had a lot of shock going into their hand whenever they use it, so I just took some 3/4 inch pipe insulation. I put a piece of plastic over the handle, pipe insulation over the plastic, and I just used some black duct tape, and that pretty much absorbs all the shock. So my hands aren't tired. I've been doing this for, I don't know, probably a good couple to 2 to 3 hours or something like that, and it still feels pretty good. So you might want to try that out. Alright, so this is a 16 by 16 inch log, and we did one cut here that went through, and now I'm going to do the bottom. So it handles pretty good with the big stuff, as long as you have a straight piece. And it has to be, you have to make sure the ram hits it right. If the angle of the wood is shifted up and the ram hits it, it might shove the log up. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you have nice wood, it's box elder, by the way. Good cuts, good clean pieces of wood without knots and stuff. This seems to be really good for it. It's really fast. Once you kind of get the hang of how it works, it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty quiet. And I like it. Alright, so we just finished up doing a bunch of wood, and here's all our chopped wood. This thing is running great. The big stuff, the knotted stuff, it's a little bit harder on it, but we're going to save that all for campfire wood. And here's the stack coming along. So far, everything but the chainsaw has held up real good. We're going to split these up tonight, and then tomorrow I'll worry about the chainsaw thing. Alright, so here's the box elder tree, the little guy that we just cut down, and I have everything marked out. I'm going to start 22 inches on the limbs with my 22-inch marker, work my way down to the thicker stuff, go to 16-inch. I have it all marked out. I'm going to start on this one right here because it's up in the air and it's easier to work with, so just drop those, and then I will move over to this branch over here, and then we'll have the trunk last. I did this all, or I'm going to do this all with the new electric chainsaw by Black & Decker, 18-inch. The only thing I don't like about it is that the oil, it's not enough oil for my liking. I don't know if I can adjust that or not yet, but other than that, everything is pretty good about it. It's kind of slow moving, but it's easy to use. It doesn't shake a lot, so I really like the electric stuff. For the bigger stuff that we have left over from the other box elder tree, we are going to get a 20-inch gas-powered saw, and that'll allow us to zip through all this bigger stuff because we've got more stuff to do yet. So now I'm going to start on this box elder. Okay, so here we have roughly a 16-inch log, and we have this 18-inch Black & Decker electric chainsaw, and we're going to see how fast it takes to cut through it. Probably about 14 inches. Usually take like 2 or 3 to get through. If it's a nice straight piece, nice good cut, one time we'll just do it. Okay, so we're back in the shop here. We're going to work on brush next, so I'm going to actually take this off the K10. I'm going to take the K10 splitter off, and we're going to put the sides on here so that way we can load the brush on the back of the tractor, and then take the brush up and hitch it onto the car, and then take it down to the city brush pile. But I just wanted to show, in order to do that, all it is one screw here, one screw on the other side, And then over here I have a 8-inch 2x4 nailed in and just pushed in there so it was tight, and then I just nailed it in. You can see on the tractor how there's that log up front right here, and that's just a counterweight, so when we take it off the hitch, this part right here won't drop down and hit the ground. So yeah, next we're gonna put the sides on and do brush. Okay, so here's our brush pile back here. We had 3 rows. We got a lot of it in here. And we're just gonna hook that up to the car now and take it down the street to the brush dump, basically. And we'll get a shot next here of the car. All right, so here we are at the brush dump. We have a tilt trailer, so we have it hooked up to the car and tilted. We pulled a little bit out on the back end, so now if you just drive forward a little bit, it should kind of get sucked out. Okay, perfect. So now I'll put the pin back in and we will cruise back to the house and get another pile of brush. Okay, so here we have a weird box elder tree that we're going to drop real quick. And you can see how the branches are really funky. So we're going to take this branch off right here and leave these 2 up top in hopes that it makes the whole tree fall that way. So I'm gonna hit a notch in right there and then finish it off in the back right over there. And hopefully the tree just falls down here and this big portion up here kind of whips into the middle of the yard. That's what we're hoping for. Alright, so this is the box elder. We got it all trimmed up, and we're actually going to set this aside along with this stuff over here. We're going to set that aside, and then it filled up so much here, this wood pile, that we want to save that part right there for silver maple. So we're just going to hold the box elder to see if we need it or not. If not, we're probably just going to give it away. So we're just saving that right now, and then I got the new 20-inch saw, gas powered, from Home Depot, the Blue Max. It's the cheapest one they had at the 20-inch, and so far I like it. Everything about it, it seems really good to go, and hopefully it takes down this tree in the middle there really well. So that's what we're going to do next. Alright, so we took down this 24-inch silver maple with this Blue Max that we bought from Home Depot, 20-inch bar in it. We got the one that had the lower, this is the 52cc, I think they make one with 57cc. I'd say this is a good all-around saw. It took down this tree really well, so what we're going to do next is take off all the brush and mark our 22-inch pieces and our 16-inch pieces, and then move on to some more split. Okay, so here's that silver maple, and we have all the branches and leaves and stuff like that picked off. One thing that we did was we used the cart on the back of the tractor to pull right up to the brush and then load it, so we didn't have to move the brush anywhere, and that worked out really nice. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mark all the 22-inch pieces and cut those apart, and then move to the 16-inch pieces. Alright, so we got the 22s all loaded up, and we put them right over there, the rounds, and then cut everything up into 16 inches. I'm getting better at it, so my cuts are a little bit bigger. And we are gonna load this guy up, take the tractor, load it up with the 16 inchers, and then we'll do all our splitting right here. Put all our wood up where the counterweight log is. Fill this whole entire piece up over here, and then we'll take it right over there and start filling in our maple trees. Alright, so here's our setup. We got the tractor filled with logs. This is a Polar trailer, LG7. It's been working out amazing. You can fill it up with logs like this, it has no problems. The name of the hitch, I'll get that. You can see it has a pin hitch and a ball hitch on it. So that's really cool. And it's been running really well with the simplicity. We've had over 1,200 pounds on the axle, and everything's running fine. And that's on the K57A Tough Torque. And this guy right here, we just got that done in a half an hour. So this splitter works really good. You can see there's no mess dealing with the silver maple compared to a box elder. So yeah, now we're gonna fill this up a little bit more with these logs here, and then we'll stack them over there. So this is about a 10-inch piece of silver maple. Okay, so here's the end result of us cleaning everything up and stacking it. And the elm tree stands out pretty nice now. I hope it gets a lot older. The silver maple on the right is going to go next after they take the house down. And here's our stack over here. We finished the box elder on the left. That's how we wanted it. And then over here, that's the new silver maple, and then we'll finish it off down there. And all this box elder is all the big stuff from the trunks, and I ended up cutting it with the 20-inch gas chainsaw. It seemed like the best way to go about it versus hammering it apart with spikes and a sledge or a maul, 8-pound maul. So I just went with the chainsaw and just wedged everything up. And then I know a guy that goes through around 8 quarts of winter, so he's gonna scoop it up for me, and that'll take care of that. And then I think, oh yeah, that's right, the tractor. I wanted to mention that if you look at this trailer with this hitch that we got, it's by P&M Fabrication, I think it is. And you can see how it sits nice and level, and what that does is take the weight off of the tongue. And this has been working out really well with that hitch. It's a really good little system. So if you want to look it up, it's P&M Fabrication, I think is what it is.